Welcome to Speak English Now, your ultimate English listening journey. Today, we have a beautiful story about the animals of the forest. Listen carefully. If you can understand this video, congratulations, you are officially at the A2 level of English. This is a huge step. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to support our 20-hour English series. Now close your eyes, relax, and listen. Chapter 1. The Dream of Little Bruno. In a green and peaceful valley surrounded by giant blue mountains, there lived a young brown bear named Bruno. Bruno lived with his mother in a large, warm cave near a clear river. He was a happy little bear, but he had one big dream. Every day, Bruno looked up at the highest peak of the mountain, which was called the Golden Mountain. At sunset, the top of the mountain shone like real gold. "Mother," Bruno said one morning while eating sweet berries, "I want to climb to the top of the Golden Mountain. I want to see the whole world from above." His mother smiled gently, but her eyes looked worried. "Bruno, you are still a young bear. The journey to the top is long and full of challenges. There are deep valleys, fast rivers, and slippery rocks. You need experience, and you need good friends to help you." "But I am strong, Mother," Bruno said, showing his small muscles. "I can run fast, and I am not afraid of anything." "Strength is good, my son," her mother replied, "but wisdom and cooperation are more important. If you truly want to go, you must promise to be careful and listen to the advice of the older animals." Bruno promised. He packed some dried fish and red berries in a small bag made of leaves. He said goodbye to his mother, who hugged him tightly. Bruno walked out of the cave with a big smile on his face. The sun was warm and the birds were singing in the trees. He felt like the bravest bear in the world, ready for a grand adventure. As he walked down the forest path, he met Felix the fox. Felix was sitting under a bush, cleaning his long red tail. Felix was famous in the valley for being very clever and knowing all the secret paths. "Hello, young Bruno," Felix said, looking at Bruno's bag. "Where are you going with so much energy?" "I am going to the top of the Golden Mountain," Bruno announced proudly. Felix stopped cleaning his tail and looked up. "The Golden Mountain? That is an interesting journey, but it is too difficult for a single bear. The paths are confusing, and the weather changes quickly up there. Do you mind if I come with you? I know the shortcuts, and I can guide you through the rocky hills." Bruno remembered his mother's words about needing friends. "Yes, Felix, please come with me. Together the journey will be more fun," Bruno said happily. And so the young bear and the clever fox started their long journey toward the high peak.
Chapter 2. The Challenge of the Fast River. After walking for several hours, Bruno and Felix arrived at the edge of the forest. The path stopped because a wide, fast river blocked their way. The water was rushing loudly over white stones, and it looked very cold and deep. Bruno walked to the edge of the water and looked across. The other side of the river was the beginning of the mountain path. "We need to cross this river," Bruno said. "Maybe I can swim across. I am a bear, and bears are good swimmers." Felix shook his head quickly. "Look at the water, Bruno. It is moving too fast. If you jump in, the river will carry you away into the deep canyon. It is too dangerous to swim today." "Then what should we do?" Bruno asked, feeling a little disappointed. He looked around, but there was no bridge. Suddenly, they heard a loud sound from above. They looked up and saw a magnificent eagle with large brown wings landing on a high rock near the river. It was Elena the eagle, the queen of the valley skies. "Hello, travelers," Elena said in a sharp, clear voice. "I saw you from the sky. Are you trying to cross the roaring river?" "Yes, Queen Elena," Felix the fox answered politely. "We are going to the Golden Mountain, but the water is too aggressive today." Elena flew down closer to them. "Do not lose hope. If you look up the river, behind those large gray rocks, there is an old fallen tree. It forms a natural bridge across the water. The wood is a bit slippery, but it is safe if you walk slowly. Bruno and Felix walked up the riverbank, and behind the big rocks, they found the giant fallen tree just as Elena had described. The tree was long, reaching from one side of the river to the other. "I am small and light," Felix said. "I will go first to show you the way." Felix balanced himself perfectly and walked across the trunk like a gymnast. In less than a minute, he was on the other side, waving his tail. Now it was Bruno's turn. Bruno was much heavier than Felix. He stepped onto the log and it made a creaking sound. The rushing water below made him feel a little dizzy. He stopped in the middle of the log, afraid to move. Elena the eagle flew slowly above Bruno's head. "Don't look down at the moving water, Bruno," she called out. "Look straight at Felix. Keep your feet wide and move slowly. You can do it." Bruno listened to Elena. He looked at Felix, took a deep breath, and took another step. Step by step, he moved forward until his paws touched the green grass on the other side. He succeeded. Bruno thanked Elena for her wonderful help, and she flew back into the blue sky. The two friends were now officially at the base of the great mountain.
Chapter 3: The Confusing Mist. The mountain path became steeper and narrower. The trees here were different from the trees in the valley. They were short and dark green. As Bruno and Felix climbed higher, the air became cooler, and the sun disappeared behind dark clouds. "We need to move faster," Felix said, looking up at the sky. "A heavy mountain mist is coming down from the peak." Before they could accelerate, a thick white mist rolled over the rocks. It was so dense that Bruno could not see his own paws. Everything became silent and mysterious. The path completely vanished from their sight. "Felix, where are you?" Bruno called out, feeling a sudden wave of fear. "I am right here, Bruno," Felix's voice came from the darkness. "Don't move. The edges of the mountain are very sharp. If we take a wrong step, we could fall down the cliff." They sat down on a cold stone, waiting for the mist to clear, but it only became thicker and colder. Bruno shivered. His dream of seeing the beautiful golden sunset seemed very far away now. He missed his warm cave and his mother's embrace. "Hoot, hoot," a calm voice said from a nearby branch. "Who is there?" Felix asked, ears turning toward the sound. Out of the mist, a great owl appeared. It was Barnaby the owl, the oldest resident of the mountain hills. Barnaby had thick feathers and wise eyes that could see perfectly through fog and darkness. "You look lost, young travelers," Barnaby said kindly. "We are trying to find the path to the Golden Mountain," Bruno explained, "but we cannot see anything." Barnaby smiled. "The mountain mist can confuse your eyes, but it cannot confuse my wings. I have lived here for 40 years. I know every stone. Walk close behind me. I will fly slowly and call out to you, so you can follow the sound of my voice." Barnaby flew into the white mist, making a soft hoot sound every 3 seconds. Felix held on to Bruno's tail, and Bruno walked carefully, listening to the old owl's voice. They walked for an hour through the blind white world. Every time Bruno felt afraid, Barnaby's voice guided him safely past hidden holes and dangerous ledges. Suddenly, they walked out of the white clouds and into the bright sunlight. They looked down and saw the thick mist lying below them like a soft white sea. Barnaby landed on a rock, looking proud. "You are safe now, my friends. The path ahead is clear all the way to the final ridge." Bruno hugged the old owl gently. "Thank you, Barnaby. Without your eyes and your voice, we would still be lost in the cold, dark mist." Barnaby wished them luck and disappeared back into the clouds below.
Chapter 4: The Cave of the Lone Wolf. The peak of the Golden Mountain was now very close. Bruno and Felix could see the rocky summit just a few hundred meters above them. However, the path passed directly in front of a dark, narrow cave entrance. As they approached, a large gray wolf stepped out of the shadow. The wolf had sharp teeth and scars on his face. His name was Silas, and he lived alone on the mountain. The animals in the valley always whispered that Silas was dangerous and disliked visitors. Felix stopped immediately, his fur standing on end. Bruno stopped too, feeling his heart beating fast inside his chest. "Stop right there," Silas the wolf said in a deep, gravelly voice. "No one enters the upper mountain without my permission.
Why are you here?" Bruno took a step forward, trying to appear brave. "I am Bruno, and this is my friend Felix. We are traveling to the summit to see the golden sunset. We don't want any trouble, Mr. Silas." Silas looked at Bruno's small bag of leaves. "You have food. I am hungry. Give me your dried fish, and maybe I will let you pass." Felix whispered to Bruno, "Don't do it, Bruno. He is a wolf. He might attack us anyway." But Bruno looked closely at Silas's eyes. The wolf didn't look angry. He looked tired, old, and lonely. His leg was slightly injured, which made it hard for him to hunt in the rocky hills. Bruno felt a wave of sympathy for the lone wolf. "I will share my food with you," Bruno said kindly. He opened his bag and gave half of his dried fish and sweet berries to Silas. "You don't need to fight us for it. We can share." Silas looked at the fish in his paws, then looked at the young bear. His hard face became soft. He had lived alone for so long that he forgot what kindness felt like. He sat down and ate the food hungrily. "Thank you, Bruno," Silas said when he finished. "You are a generous bear. Many animals run away from me or throw stones because they are afraid of my face. They think I am a monster." "Kindness opens all doors, Silas," Felix relaxing his ears. Silas stood up and moved away from the path. "The peak is just ahead, but the wind is very strong near the top. Walk close to the mountain wall so the wind doesn't push you. And remember, if you ever return this way, you are always welcome at my cave." Bruno smiled, happy that he had made a new friend instead of an enemy. He learned that sometimes a scary face hides a lonely heart.
Chapter 5. The Golden Summit. Finally, after a full day of climbing, Bruno and Felix reached the top of the Golden Mountain. The summit was a flat, rocky platform high above the clouds. The view from the top was absolutely spectacular. Bruno looked down and saw the entire green forest like a small emerald carpet. He saw the winding blue river where they had crossed the fallen tree. He saw the white mist rolling softly over the lower hills. Just then, the sun began to set behind the western mountains. The sky exploded with incredible colors: deep purple, bright orange, and soft pink. When the sunlight touched the peak where Bruno and Felix stood, the rocks began to glow with a brilliant golden light. It felt like they were standing inside a palace made of real gold. "We did it, Felix!" Bruno shouted, his voice echoing across the mountains. "Look at this! It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen." Felix sat down next to Bruno, his red tail curled around his paws. "Yes, Bruno, it is magnificent. But remember, we did not reach this peak alone. We are here because Elena showed us the bridge, Barnaby guided us through the mist, and Silas allowed us to pass. And most importantly, we are here because we helped each other." Bruno sat down beside his friend, watching the golden light change slowly into night. He felt a deep sense of accomplishment inside his heart. He realized that his mother was completely right. His physical strength was helpful, but the journey was successful because of cooperation, friendship, and kindness. "This journey changed me, Felix," Bruno said softly. "I feel older and wiser now." "That is what adventures do, my friend," Felix replied with a smile. "They show us who we truly are." They stayed on the summit for an hour, enjoying the cold, fresh air and the stars that were beginning to shine brightly in the dark blue sky. They felt small in the giant universe, but they also felt incredibly strong together.
Chapter 6. The Return Home. The next morning, the sun rose again, warming the cold stones of the mountain peak. Bruno and Felix began their journey back down to the valley. The descent was much faster because they already knew the secrets of the path. When they passed the narrow cave, Silas the wolf stepped out and waved his paw, wishing them a safe return. When they reached the lower hills, Barnaby the owl flew over them, giving a happy hoot of goodbye. And when they arrived at the fast river, they crossed the fallen log with confidence, knowing exactly how to balance their weight. By the time the sun was setting on the second day, Bruno and Felix walked back into the green forest village. All the animals gathered around them, eager to hear the story of their grand adventure. Bruno's mother ran out of her cave and hugged her son tightly, checking his paws and ears to make sure he was safe. "I am so proud of you, Bruno," she whispered.
I see a change in your eyes. You walked away as a little bear, but you returned as a wise leader." That evening, a big celebration was held under the great oak tree. The monkeys made a large fire, and everyone shared sweet fruits and nuts. Bruno stood in the center and told the story of the Golden Mountain. He praised Felix for his guidance, Elena for her sharp eyes, Barnaby for his wisdom, and Silas for his hidden kindness. "The Golden Mountain is beautiful," Bruno concluded, looking at the happy faces of his neighbors. "But the most beautiful thing is the family we have here in the valley. We must always protect each other and work together, because no animal can climb the mountains of life alone." The animals cheered loudly, and the forest echoed with joy. Bruno sat next to his mother and Felix, feeling completely warm and happy. He had achieved his dream, and he had learned the greatest secret of all. True success belongs to those who travel with love and friendship in their hearts. Thank you for listening to this story on Speak English Now. You are doing a wonderful job with your English. Every minute you listen, you become better. You did it. You finished this part. If you enjoyed this beautiful journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next part.